saw this at the store and I was immediately like, add to cart. It's giving Few Towns Over from Forks to read my silly little book, okay? Do I look alright? Do I look okay? I'm so excited. We have so much to go over. Where to begin? First of all, I got a light. Finally. I don't know if this is bright enough, so let me play with the settings. Let me play with like the coloration. But I did finally get a light for my vlog camera, just a little one. You know my many years, if you look through my videos, I had big lights, I had all these things that cast a lot of weird shadows. Finally found this one. Literally, Larry reads her light that she uses. I went to Amazon and I got her light. Credit to her. Happy October, happy fall. I want to talk to you about all of the books I read in September today. However, we have very pressing matters. Life of a Showgirl came out and I got the special edition. This is the back. I got the blue late edition record. I have not bought any of her vinyls before, but this album felt so special that I finally decided to get one. The poem that I got, because all of them have a poem and they each have a star, mine has 3 stars on it. So do with that information what you will. If you're wondering, yes, I do have a record player. I have for a very long time, like almost 10 years I think I've had one. But here is the back. Just her and all of the showgirls. Handle your records delicately. Also, my thumb is in the middle, so I don't want to hear it from any record snobs. Don't even try me. So this is the Blue Lake vinyl, Life of a Showgirl, and it is sparkly, shimmery, and gorgeous. I won't spend too much time on this album, but I have listened to the entire thing. I love the entire thing. Came straight from Memphis, Tennessee. Gorge. I love how shiny it is. It's just beautiful. Gorgeous. Love it. I had to show you that before we do anything else. I won't spend any more time on it. We will get into the books. I had a 24-hour readathon for myself. I read quite a few books in September, especially for it being so busy. Where should we start? Should we get the novellas out of the way before I talk about the 2 novels that I loved in September, because I read some novellas for sure. So, Pumpkin Spice Haunted Twice. Read this during the 24-hour read, right? I really wanted to like it. Something that bothers me is that, and I try not to throw shade at it, because if you're a self-published author and you can't afford to hire a voice actor, you gotta do what you gotta do. So this audiobook is read by just a voice generator. And I think that that added part of the reason that I didn't love it. However, it's just kind of very boring and it was very repetitive and it kind of just left me wanting something more. It felt like it didn't have a bunch of structure. Like, I have read Goosebumps books that are both scarier and cozier, so you do with that what you will. I did enjoy it. I gave it 2 stars. Probably should have gave it 1 star, but here we are. How It Ends by Rachel Hall. I loved this little novel. It was short, it was thrilling, it was a blast. It wasn't like a massive twist, I would say, but it did shock me how it sort of all perfectly came together. There was a twist and it was good. However, it wasn't like sort of mind-blowing like say The Silent Patient was. You know, it wasn't on that same level. However, it was a really good twist. I did enjoy it. It was a great book, and I think if you're looking for something quick, it's like 2.5 hours. I'd highly recommend it. Okay, so the next one, Ankle Snatcher. This was the last book that I read in September because I read it on the 29th, and it's The Ankle Snatcher by Grady Hendrix. As we know, I've been loving Grady Hendrix books. I need to finish Southern Book Club's guide, but I have been loving his stuff lately, and he wrote these short little thrillers for this sort of like creature collection on Kindle Unlimited. So naturally, of course, I downloaded it and I read it. It's about like an hour and a half or something like that. It's very good. It is spooky for being such a short book. I don't want to spoil anything, but then again, these are really like small books, so do with that what you will. It's about a young man who father his mother, and he's always sort of like blamed it on this thing called the ankle snatcher, and he's like, son, we're different. The ankle snatcher will get us. Don't ever go to the bathroom without turning the lights on. Don't ever get out of bed or put your feet on the floor. Don't let your feet hang over. Sort of that like kind of paranoia, I think that at least I have, but some of us have, of if you hang your feet over the bed, you feel like something's gonna grab it. It really feeds into that fear, and so it's sort of this young man navigating that in his life, and it was really interesting. Kind of turns here and there of, well, is he crazy, or does this monster like exist, or is he the monster? You'll have to read to find out. So if you're looking for just like a quick thrill this Halloween season, I would highly recommend that one. Now to get into the 2 bigger novels that I read last month, which are complete opposites of each other. So we'll start with Fall I Want because that's what I started September with. Fall I Want, first of all, let's appreciate. Gorgeous. Love the sprayed edges. So this is an entire series, the fall series, if you will. They all start with the word fall. But this is the very first book in the collection, and this is about Zane and Autumn. And Autumn is a barista, scary movie lover. Sounds a little bit familiar, huh? It was a very cute book. I loved that it had sort of this small town charm that had like the haunted house up on the hill situation, and sort of had more complex characters. They aren't the deepest pools, but they aren't, you know, the shallow end, but they aren't the deep end. They're sort of just like that nice 5-foot area that I have to stand on my tippy toes in. That's what this book is. You know what I mean? Anyways, very much instant love, very much deals with found family situations and exes and the complications of fake dating as well. It's called Cozy Creek, but it doesn't say what state it's actually in. It's giving Washington. Giving Washington State. It's giving a few towns over from Forks, where it's a little bit peppier. You know what I mean? That's what it's giving. In my mind, this is 20 miles away from Forks. Anyways, very good. I think I gave this 5 stars, or at least I gave it 4.8. Again, very cheesy. Okay, I saw people in the reviews being like, oh yeah, this is so unbelievable. This isn't realistic. This and that and the other. I'm like, hey, it's not supposed to be. If I'm reading this for it to be realistic, I would read nonfiction. I'm here to read my silly little book, okay? But anyways, almost 5 stars, would recommend. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I was waiting for this book to come out. I thought it came out in October. It didn't. I got my books mixed up. I got it confused with Hannah Grace's new book, Holiday Ever After, which I will be getting next week. However, it's a long story. I'll tell you about it later. Because that came out the last day of September. So in my mind, right, I'm like, oh, that's October. It's gonna be sold out. So I thought that this came out in October. And then Hannah Grace's came out earlier. But then when hers didn't come out earlier in September, I was like, wait, what came out? Saw this at the store and I was immediately like, add to cart. If you don't know, this is Tour Season by Bryn Weaver. She writes the Trueness series, which is B&B, Leather and Lark, and Scythe and Sparrow. I still have to finish Scythe and Sparrow. I know, leave me alone. Anyways, I was really excited to get into this story because it's a brand new series. It's the Seasons of Carnage trilogy. So we get 2 more books and she needs to release them immediately. I need to know because this bad boy does end on a cliffhanger. Now, I'm not gonna spoil too much about this. I don't want to because it's still so new and I want you guys to go and read it because it is so good. I think I finished this in a day and a half. I really did. I couldn't put it down. It's about Harper Starling and Nolan Rhodes, and of course Cape Carnage, which is the name of the town. Before you read this book, please read the trigger warnings. And obviously it's about 2 serial that fall in love. That's like Bryn's thing. However, I will read you the part of the trigger list that I think is not conventional, and it's probably the only one that I'm allowed to read on YouTube, honestly. Alright, so one of the ones we'll start here is language and blasphemy. That doesn't apply to me. Medical settings and details, including trauma response activities, CPRs, hospital and long-term recovery. Can't say that, can't say that, can't say that. It deals with an elderly loved one with mild cognitive impairment and early Alzheimer's. Caregiving responsibility and challenges are also depicted. She wrote a letter for this because she has people in her life who have suffered from this as part of the trigger warning. So that is one of the ones I wanted to warn you about because that can be a very difficult subject, especially if you're dealing with a loved one who has some of those things. I do not. I did have a loved one who dealt with those things and they have passed a very long time ago. Still miss them all the time, but I was fine reading this. I was like, okay, I got it. And you want to know what? I'm gonna spoil this a little bit for you. It's done in a very tactful way to where it does show the seriousness and the realities of it. However, it does show sort of the funnier aspects of it because you need to realize that sometimes it can have its little funny moments or quirky moments or oh my god what just happened moments. It deals with it in that way too. It's a very well-rounded representation of it all. However, Harper is just a young woman who is taking care of an older gentleman who is not her boyfriend. And does what she can to keep Cape Carnage free of really bad people and really bad tourists trying to ruin its reputation during its tourist season, because after fall it sort of shuts down for the winter, right? One of those towns, think Maine, think sort of like parts of Connecticut. That's the vibe. Definitely not on the West Coast, definitely East Coast girl. And Nolan Rhodes is there to find her and get revenge for something that you will learn about when you read it. They hit a fork in the road. They start to fall in love. That's not a spoiler. That's That's literally in the synopsis, so I don't care. And it deals with a lot of like backstories. It deals with a lot of rumors about the town because a true crime investigator comes to town and sort of throws a wrench in a lot of their plans. It is definitely an enemies to lovers. It is definitely really funny and witty, and it's a good time. It reminded me a lot of B&B, the first book, so I was very excited for this. This one's gonna be hard to beat. I really enjoyed it. I think it's perfect if you're a dark romance girly. I wouldn't call myself a dark romance girly. I dabble in dark romance, but I'm mostly like a paranormal thriller, fluffy romance girl. Those are my categories. Do with that what you will. But did enjoy this very, very much. I love her writing. She is hilarious and she really brings these characters to life. So if you pick this up, I think you will really enjoy it. 5 stars. I gave this 5 stars. No notes. Perfection. Alright, well that is going to be it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I am going to go listen to more Taylor. And be sure to put down in the comments what you are reading this October or any book recommendations in general. I always enjoy them. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.